We are back. Oh, jeez. I hope that sound lag. There we go. That's the term I'm looking for. I hope that isn't too much for anybody. Just because, yeah, it does sound kind of far out the more that I listen to it. It's because I'm on very cheap equipment, because I don't really have a whole ton of money. But what can you do? We've got a couple more quests here in the forest area to do before we go and actually explore it regularly and fight the boss. Granted, right now we could probably go fight and beat the boss just fine. Okay, so we're getting the girl from the previous quest. She is going to come with us on this one because she doesn't believe the data that we've sent back. Like, how could these animals be violent, right? How could human interference cause animals in their native environment to become violent? Wow. Who would have guessed? A very difficult to see thing, but I did catch it, and something that clearly it's not going to be well remembered because of the gap between streams, is that interestingly, Alicia's section ID has changed between the missions. I think that a lot of people kind of theorized that originally she had a different name in one of the missions. I forget what it was, though. I might be able to do a quick looking it up. I don't think it's actually going to be a thing on TCRF, but I'll see. Otherwise, I'm not 100% sure where I'd be able to find that information. Other than trawling through one of the threads on the PSO2 Twitter, which might actually have some information about that. Like, weirdly enough, there's only so much of this that's documented on a site. Like, well, like the aforementioned cutting room floor. Which is weird, because you would think there would be a lot more stuff in this game to look for. Maybe there isn't. I'll look into it later. Either way, we've got a party member right now. Something that you might have caught if you watched the video numbered 00 on my channel is that this character who is with us is using basically the default model for the Fomaro class. I didn't mention it before, but Kirik is basically the default Hue cast. Ash is the default Humar. We will be meeting all, I believe, of the default character models except for one. Well, we don't get the names for two of them, but one of them doesn't appear like is not a character that is generated by the game at all unless you do it yourself, i.e. if you choose to become it's the raw cast, I'll say that. If you choose to build that, obviously the game will throw that at you and you have to twiddle around with it to get what you want. Well, I mean, it worked fine for us before, so I would assume so. We have to get to Forest 2 in order to basically do anything useful with this mission. Otherwise, we're just fighting a couple of monsters. Also, I realized yesterday, I think it was, yeah, it was yesterday. I was about to say, wait, didn't I stream yesterday? No, I didn't. It's Wednesday, and yesterday was Tuesday. Ugh. I have been so just bad at everything brain-wise pretty much since the beginning of the pandemic. And it's just gotten worse with time. Kind of embarrassing, really. And by kind of, I mean very. Anyway, she's casting the basic level ice spell. I don't remember what I was going to say. We're just going to have to drop it. Oh, wait. No. Forget it. It wasn't that important. Although, it does let me point out that, yeah, there's... I've managed to forget somehow that actually... Jeez, oh man. Hi, bot. Why don't fuck you give me money instead of putting me through this, okay? I'm not here for that kind of thing. It's like when somebody comes up to you and offers to pay you in exposure for something, but they've already found you to begin with. That kind of is, you're already pretty damn exposed to begin with, so shut up and pay me for the work that I'm doing. And I mean, it wouldn't really be work on my part, but I mean, if somebody is in here pretending to offer me fame and fortune, just do it instead of jacking around like this. Listen, I've read a couple of stories in my life. I understand what happens when you make a deal with a djinn. It doesn't end well for you. It's even worse because Slackstep is like actually kind of a acceptable username. Like, if somebody had Slackstep as a username, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? You arrived at that in a decent way. Fair enough. So, on top of that, some fucking bot is taking up this username that could have gone to, like, a 16-year-old or something that I wouldn't have made fun of them for. That makes it sound really bad, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just in, like, a funny mood, too, because... Listen, folks, I don't mean to upset anyone here, but unfortunately, the shitty wizard game, nobody thought to stop that at any point. And so you've got a bunch of weirdos now. Like, you've got a lot of really weird people who are just like, oh, well, I've got to stream it. And it's like, no, you don't. You pointedly do not. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. You have a duty to ignore its existence and to let it die. You very pointedly have a duty to not give money to it because its creator has said, I know, you know, somebody's gonna say something about the specifics, and you know what? If you're the person who's going to come in here and who's going to try and lecture me about the fact that Joanne didn't personally put together any part of the shitty wizard game, you know something? I don't care about you or your feelings or anything else. Just, this is much bigger than that kind of... You can tell I really haven't gotten back the whole ability to communicate thing. Especially not as a streamer, but in short, what I'm trying to get at here is that, yes, actually, that bitch does get money from the Garbage Wizard game. That piece of dog shit human being. And so if you are purchasing it, because she has said that she will give money to anti-trans causes, if you buy that game, you are a few steps removed maybe at best, but funding genocide anyway. So, you know, fuck you. You don't have the right to an opinion if you want to complain. Also, I seem to recall there being a hell of a lot more going on in this quest other than just like, hey, go to this point, go to that point. Like, weren't there monsters here? Oh no, we can't access the computer. Probably because it can't ping Central Dome whatsoever. Excuse me. Never attack unless they're needlessly provoked. Well, I mean, we haven't actually met any ourselves yet, is the thing. Is we haven't gotten in any... We literally just fought a couple of wolves in that one room, which... Again, I could have sworn there were more rooms where you got into fights. Even just along that chain, which we took the fastest way there. Did we? Whatever. We took one of the fastest ways there, that's for sure. And yes, by the way, the NPCs do only use 1 to 2 spells. Certainly only of a single element. Which, you know, hey, wow, the NPCs aren't good at fighting. We already knew that. Shouldn't this be day 2? Oh, did I forget to... I bet I did. Yeah. Yes, it should be day 2. If I listed day 1, then... that means that I am extremely non-vigilant. Which at this point, I think everybody probably knows that. But, hello, I hope you're doing well today, Mark. I heard your pet is not doing the greatest, but... aside from that, I hope things are basically going okay. He's doing better today? Well, that's good. That's a step in the right direction. Oh, is that actually close enough for you to hit? That's kind of wild. Because, I mean, clearly this thing is not... Or, that one wasn't close... This one is, but... The other one was not close enough to punch us. Ooh! A very well-timed level up. Not calculated, I assure you, but appreciated. Oh no, I should probably use something I can... I should use something that I can know how to hit with a little better. Up close, those wolves will circle you in a way that actually makes hitting them with the saber-type weapons really hard. Like, okay, it's a simple pattern, but it'll mess with you quite a bit. Probably because this game is, well, it's a 3D game from the very early aughts / late 90s. So, it is a little bit rough. Oh, don't give anyone at Lazangle or whatever the company is, Aniplex is the other one. Don't give anyone their ideas because I'm not going to say they're greedy fucks, but I'm going to say that I have certainly seen enough mechanics of Grand Order after how long it's been, I should have, to know that, yeah, they are. Anyway, questionable, especially on my part, questionable statements aside. Who was I? I don't remember where I was. That's great. Anyway, yeah, so you've probably noticed, and I've definitely said it before, that, yeah, the movement and everything in this game is a little bit crusty. I mean, I still love this game a lot, but I will readily cop to the fact that a large part of that is nostalgia. And if someone who hadn't played this game ever before, and who has played at least one three-dimensional game from within the last, like, 5 years or so, and by last 5 years or so, I mean the other way around, as in, like, that had been released 5 years or so after this one came out. If someone like that went, well, you know, this is unplayably just chunky and awful, I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Hell, if you've played Phantasy Star Universe and you've never played this, and, like, you have some sort of understanding of Phantasy Star Universe, and you've gained a decent feel for that, the mobility and everything there, you know, if you would go and look at this and be like, wow, this is pointedly chunkier than that. And again, I would say, yes, you're right. It's just that nostalgia is a little hard to explain, and in general, I appreciate a lot of this stuff. Honestly, I would love to see them bring back a couple of these environments, because it's very clear that Sega and Sonic Team specifically, because Sonic Team does the Phantasy Star stuff now. Thanks a lot, Criminal Mastermind Yuji Naka, for being one of the big players in this franchise and in Sonic. They've shown that they're willing to do a lot of, like, crossover and flashback stuff. I would love for them to bring back certain environments, specifically for stuff like New Genesis and that are more amenable to, like, intensive battles and siege kind of situations. Like, in particular, when I did my run-through to finish the main story on normal mode, so that way I could play this on hard, the last room of the game before the final boss is huge, and usually it spawns just a shitload of enemies that in massive amounts of waves, and when I got there, I got like 3 dudes. And I had done a couple of quests before where it's like, oh man, you're getting like 20, 25 things, which for this game is kind of a lot. And so I would love to have something that is, again, more amenable to more intense stuff and just have to bounce around this huge-ass room dealing with, like, 20 enemies at once. But regardless, let's carry on with the quest. This Babby Gorilla. Oh, jeez, that would probably make things quite a bit worse if they were growing up like this. Although, I mean, how long has Pioneer 2 been in orbit over Regal? Like, a week or something? I have a feeling that you would get in trouble if we did that. And yeah, flashing back, but yeah, Sonic 06. I mean, I played Sonic 06 too. So Sonic 06 is a different type of bad control. This is just, like, very aged. Whereas Sonic 06 was bad for when it came out, too. It was rough and bumpy and janky and a horrible mess. Oh yeah, I guess we have a reward to get from this quest, but first... Well, first... we do that. And let's see if this thing has a neat special. It has draw. I think that's worse than what we have right now. Yeah, this thing is just pointedly not as good as what we have, just by virtue of not having as strong of a special attack. Omega, mostly I think Omega had just really terrible, bad, awful levels. More than anything, Omega's controls were okay when we first got to play him, and then after that, it's just like, oh, by the way, we're gonna make you suffer for this. Silver, I actually liked Silver, especially when the auto-aim actually functioned. Because there was some auto-aim on his shooting in a few areas. But... oh my god, sometimes it was just like, yeah, no, we're not doing this today. Oh, I'm taking a nap. Good job, Sonic Team. I'm glad that you guys... I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, we're going to go into... excuse me, the last... this should be the last quest that we have until we actually go beat the boss of the forest. Grand Squall. A pleasure boat? Boat. That's an interesting description. Is it like an actual aquatic ship, or is it a mistranslation of ship as in spaceship? Yes, the Hunters Guild counter and the bank lady are dressed like, well, is there a diplomatic way to put this? They kind of look like stewardesses in a porn video. That may not have been very diplomatic, but again, it's quite a strange choice of fashion, to say the least. But yeah, there's... yeah, post Phantasy Star 4, this series is kind of relentlessly horny, and, like, increasingly so. I mean, PSO2 even got an M rating, which I'm pretty sure is not entirely due to, like, bloodshed or anything like that. And what do you got to say, buddy? Yeah, you think something suspicious about this? I mean, the way the guys, like, don't talk to anybody about it is a little questionable. What about you? Greatsword Zoke. We're gonna find out about Zoke in a different quest line. But he is kind of related to this because we see a dude who shows up in one of his quests later. Android wasn't with him. Order with a ranger. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty sure that the way this is set up is kind of on purpose. But yeah, it is absolutely on the ridiculous side of things. Thanks, Sonic Team. I think. I don't know about that, dude. We have and will continue to get quests from very strange people. I mean, yeah, I can just say Sega, but it is very specifically a specific subset of Sega. Sega does some weird shit in general, to be fair. Oh, I bet this sniper rifle is Garbo. What do you got for me? No percentages whatsoever. Nice. Let's see that dog shit special in a few minutes. And by a few minutes, I mean probably like 15. Whenever we get back there. Oh yeah, I have no idea why it took me this long to say it, but having an ally with a basic staff with her reminded me. I said yesterday that all the weapons, all the basic weapon types have 5 levels. All the caster weapons, which are the... I forget what the... cane. Yeah, the cane is the basic one for that. The canes, the rods, and wands, which, you know, you hear names like that, it's like, what's the difference? And it's really just which one raises what type of stats. They only have 4 stages each, which, to be fair, for most of the caster classes, most of their power doesn't come from weapons anyway. It comes from their ability to cast magic. And most of the gear for them that you would ever be concerned about are mostly just rare stuff. Especially the rare weapons that cast free versions of techniques as their special attack. That's something we are very likely not to see on this channel or in this playthrough. But we may very well, again, if I do runs through of episode 2 or ultimate mode, which, again, as I mentioned before, different textures for a bunch of stuff in ultimate mode, then I may end up see about getting one of those, and we can see a little bit of entertainment with some of those weapons. Or God help us if I go and get on a Blueburst server and get prepped to do episode 4, which I'm not sure how much story that has. Or, honestly, even if we do just the online story quests, which there are a few of those, then again, that may be a thing that we do. Nah, boat seems silly. I think you're correct. Yeah, thanks, dude. This branch starts over, so we can actually go to, we can actually recruit this dude. Yeah, quit chuckling, chucklehead. Come with me, he'll give us some good information. Come on! And there he is, it's Bernie. Not Bernie Sanders. But But he can still win. Although with that gun, I don't know, because that weapon's not actually that good despite the gigantic size. Yeah, opposite of Metal Gear Solid 4, basically. That is not incorrect. MGS4, what a game. What a movie. What a series of movies to sit through, in fact. So I think Bernie is using the unupgraded version of this gun, the Flame Visit, which is actually slightly better than its upgraded version, strangely enough. Look at this dude's hair. It almost looks like he's starting a pomp, but also he's got a flat top. It's like the designers got confused halfway through and changed their minds. I like it. So about that thing I was saying that, yeah, Bernie here, I keep almost calling him Bernie Sanders. That's messed up. Yeah, I had a feeling that there was some shit going on with this quest, Bernie. But, so his gun, he has a weapon that is a fairly rare shotgun-style weapon called the Flame Visit. And it has only a single target, but it does really good damage. However, it is slow as balls, so you end up losing out on DPS. There is a version that you can get as an upgrade called the Burning Visit if you use a photon booster item on it, which is only obtained through an in-game trade at a fairly steep price of some stuff that you pick up. So, not exactly the greatest deal in the world, but it removes the ability for the weapon to combo and replaces it with the ability for the weapon to pierce. And the shots move slower, I believe. It doesn't even have, like, a great special. I'm pretty sure it uses the Confusion special, which is probably, like, bottom tier of the entire set of specials. Yeah, I don't know anything about this dude. And he doesn't seem to know anything either. Man in Black, huh? I don't think we've seen a guy in black yet. But, oh, this door is having a bad time. Can we do anything about this? Oh, I think there's more than just a broken mechanism going on here, Bernie. But, if you think that'll help. See, he has the knack. He really digs the song My Sharona, so he bought that entire album. It's a terrible joke, even by my standards. And yeah, see, he's got fire spells to go with his big fire gun, and he's called Bernie. Oh god, the pun. Oh jeez. I think they're playing that a little too much. But, I won't criticize too severely because... Double question marks. You don't say. Secret military ship, huh? That's about what I had guessed. I don't know if specifically military, but, I mean... They do keep a lot of secrets from us, like everybody in this game does, so... Maybe military. Anything cool over here? Nothing of true value. I mean, with the damage out he's getting, flamethrower is not incorrect. I was gonna say something like, nah, he's more like using Ember. He's using this thing, and he's using the default fire spell. But no, he's actually hitting pretty hard. Gotta give this guy some respect. Like, he's no Kirik, but he's fairly strong. Also, yeah, he's the default style for the Ramar. Again, Kirik is the default Hue cast. Alicia is the default Fomarl. Have we seen any of the... Oh, yeah, Ash. I already mentioned Ash. No, I mean, he's definitely landing all of his hits. So... Like, he hasn't missed once, which is kind of impressive. On the other hand, he is the class that is the most about high accuracy. Like, the Ramar has the best accuracy in the game, and that tends to make them, like, one of the best support classes in the game for anybody who's doing, like, serious content in this. Because then he can just land status effects all the livelong day. Especially, I think in Ultimate Mode, some of his paralysis attacks get boosted if you're playing this class. And you have a weapon with a paralysis special, so like Spread Needle and shit like that, will just do a lot of good for a party. Also, pretty decent damage overall, but again... We already discussed that. And 2, he is 10 levels above us. Even without a mag, he should be hitting decently hard. What did you drop? Oh, you dropped garbage. Okay. That's about what I expected from the little bugs that constantly get spawned by the big hive creature. Meanwhile, these things are weak to lightning spells, so his fire is not going to be doing quite as much damage. Although, again, part of that is offset when you have a gun that's as big as you. Oh, shit. Hey. Our first red drop of the game. Unfortunately, it's just a Booma's right arm. Those can be developed into special claw-type weapons, which are a completely unique subset of weapons that only exist as, like, rare drops. However, I don't remember how to do it. So, I know we can't do it right now. We're not gonna see that for... We're not gonna see that for yet. I heard about the fact that they're putting together a Hungry Burger based archetype, and I find that kind of hilarious. That is... The people who develop stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh! Have a very excellent sense of humor about making certain archetypes and stuff. And incredibly goofy throwbacks to various things that are normally, like, kind of terrible, but they'll give support to stuff like... 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that. Like, a while back... Oh, I'm going to pick up this spread for a second just to show off that it is the Tier 2 shotgun. And I mean, the damage buff is a little nice, but it cuts down our accuracy pretty hard. By, what is that, 39? So it's literally just one accuracy better than a regular one, but you can see it's got a blue photon light on it. So if you prefer blue to green, I mean, I guess it's a better weapon, but we got a really good drop when we were doing prep for this. So What do you think I'm gonna stick with? But yeah, that is one of the things that I generally just really love, like, even just looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! Spoilers. It's just like, wow. They had some really fun ideas there. Oh, I think that Rappy just dropped its own arm here. Yeah, Rappy's wing. We can develop that into a slicer-type weapon. And a fairly decent one at that for, like, being that free. But again, I don't remember how to do the enemy part weapons. So that's something for us to investigate at a much later time. Oh, you were ready for that thing, weren't you? You fucking monster. I can't believe you would do that, Bernie. Just a Rappy, jeez. As I think about how many of those things I've murdered in PSO2. And in this game over the years. I've got no room to talk shit, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But yeah, speaking of Yu-Gi-Oh! I really need to see if there's, like, anywhere near me IRL that does, like, in-person events. Because I know that Master Duel is a thing, and I've played Master Duel a little bit, but I don't really like the idea of throwing money into that. In general, I don't particularly like throwing money at, like, digital-only products. I would prefer to own some of them. And I believe that part of the reason why is that way back when I was in high school, I had an iTunes account, and I had a laptop that I had gotten as a gift for Christmas one year. And the hard drive on it just fucking died. Or, well, some part of it did. I may still even have the hard drive somewhere that I got, that it got lost. But anyway, iTunes had a limit of, like, oh, well, you can put this on 5 devices. And I also had an iPod at that time. I was very lucky. Back then, our family had money. You don't understand why they had to put the chip in this girl? Well, it's probably for something weird, dude. Just don't think about it, and you'll be a lot happier. Anyway, so I had a lot of very, very bad luck when it came to these laptops, like, holding together. Thank goodness the insurance plan that I had on it was super good. Like, people shit on Dell quite heavily for reasons that are all quite understandable, but man, their insurance policies used to actually, like, they would put really strong guarantees on that stuff. And unless something happened to your machine's AC adapter, which is why I stopped bothering with laptops, because I used to have some of them. They were just, you know, AC adapters are not well made, in case you're unaware. Electronics in general these days are not particularly well made, but AC adapters are especially bad. So the last time that I tried to do anything like that, the AC adapter on mine kind of crapped, and also I had a problem where the inside barrel connector for the place on the actual computer where you would have that, they stopped doing it, and I was just like, you know what? I know that at least part of it is because of this company, but I've tried a couple others that have been really bad, and I'm just gonna set this aside. I don't really need laptops that much. I probably could stand to use less electricity in my life, and I already have the computer on the main PC, like, most of the time, so yeah. Anyway, yeah, the amount of times that laptop died and was basically considered a new machine reached such a point that iTunes was like, oh, by the way, you can't access your music that you've purchased anymore. And I hadn't even really changed the machine at any point. Like, it literally was just all on that one laptop. It just was such a misfortune-laden affair that it kept getting considered to be new, you know. It had a really bad case of amnesia, basically, and I was the one who was paying for that. So that was an even bigger than usual impetus for me to be like, well, you know, maybe this digital-only thing is a load of shit. And there's a lot of games that I've passed on because of their being digital-only, like Ace Attorney 5, for example. Over here, and I don't know if we ever got a physical version of Dual Destinies, which is what that game was called, but Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, when it first came out over here, they were like, we don't know if we're going to be able to sell many cartridges of it. And they just did digital only. And I was like, well, you know what, Capcom? You can go eat a dick. I'm not going to buy this then. Oh, I bet you are. You, sir, I'm pretty sure you don't even have Gifoy, so, like, you would have a bad time with this. Even if these things are the most garbage mobs you've ever seen. So yeah, lengthy story. Digital-only things suck butts. I don't like purchasing digital-only things. I don't like subscriptions. I don't like none of that shit. Ooh, defense material. Let me go ahead and use that real quick. So if I was going to be picking Yu-Gi-Oh! Back up, which, to be fair, I would actually enjoy doing that, I think. I had an idea a ways back for a Fossil Fusion / Magnet Warriors deck, and I still want to do that. That sounds like it would be a fun time. But if it's a thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to... Oh, he actually does have Gifoy, which is the Fire Spiral that he's doing. That is certifiably a good spell, actually. I think that's probably the best offensive spell in the game. If we're being quite honest about it. And yeah, again, if Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be a thing, I'm gonna look for someone to do that IRL, because yeah, otherwise I'm gonna be throwing money into Master Duel, trying to either get the cards or get enough crafting points or whatever they're called in that game to be able to just craft the deck, which, again, I feel like the other thing is that I might be inclined to be more competitive or just build more competitive friendly decks if I went in on Master Duel, because, I mean, technically it's a free game, right? So... But in real life, hey, if that stuff's rotating in terms of effectiveness all the time, I could just stay casual and be like, hey, here's this deck that I had this idea for. I think it's cool. Let's see if we can do something interesting with this. And I probably wouldn't have a chance of being at, like, a high-level tournament to begin with. So, yes. But yeah, here... Oh God, that stick looks absolutely gigantic in her hands. Yeah, sure, Bernie. This corpse here, I believe the girl's name is Rupika, but that is not stated anywhere in-game, which is very weird. The other one, I didn't quite get to get this out because I am a mushmouth idiot, but I didn't... the default Rockcast is named because she's the default phony whirls while I'm bringing this up. But the default Rockcast, so the big Gundam-looking dude, is named Gilliam, but I don't think he shows up as like a real character anywhere in the game. This is a pretty good piece of equipment, so I think I might actually pick this up. Okay, yeah, fair enough, because like I guess the other thing is also that, you know, power level scale and everything in the Yugimons. The Yugimons. I sound like a real piece of work, don't I? Anyway, so sometimes you'll get that little music cue. I don't know if you guys heard that when you visit a Techer and you have them analyze one of your items. I don't know what triggers that. I don't know if it's just like, oh, you got good results or something. But it's there. So we're going to keep this Master Sniper for... Maybe? I'm going to think about this for a sec. More importantly, let's get ourselves 2 free bonus attack power. But yeah, good point about Yu-Gi-Oh! and stuff like that. But I'd have to see, I guess, if that Magnet Warrior Fossil Fusion could be a decent deck, I suppose, in that case. Because on the other hand, there are a real level of, like, fairly decent, like, there's a fairly large set of decks, I think, that exist at, like, below Tier 1. But, of course, Tier 1 and above, which is the thing, you know, there are Tier 0 decks at a non-zero amount of time. But, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Does get kind of ridiculous at that high level where it seems like only a few things are that good. But I suppose that is kind of normal for a lot of card games, actually. I don't know. Oh, I see. Bernie is the guy's nickname. He didn't just get named Bernie and be like, yeah, I'm going to use fire all the way through my entire life. Right, that one was like a Tier 0 deck, right? There certainly were a couple that I've heard people complaining about on the Twitters over the last couple of months, and as you can see, yeah, no new quests for us, so we're just going on the expedition. And there were a lot of people who were complaining about that as being a problem with a lot of decks at the time, so yeah. I mean, yeah, if they're that readily counterable, I don't think they're a true tier 0 just inherently, because that kind of says that, yeah, there's like a real reason to not play them. Whereas tier 0 is just like, if you don't play this, you are not going to win unless literally nobody else. Tier 0 is basically like GSC era Snorlax, for anybody who is anywhere remotely well-versed in competitive Pokemon. That you play Snorlax or you're up shit creek without a paddle, basically. And you're almost objectively going to lose against somebody who does have Snorlax. Whereas it sounds like D-Rulers are just like, they are very good and very usable and high utility. So like a legitimate tier 1, but tier 0 seems a little bit far-fetched. Anyway, excuse me. I think a belch snuck in there. That was not my intention. A little bit of terrible camera snuck in there. That was also not my intention. But yeah, you can... This is a way to grind experience, that's for sure. It's not exactly fast, it's not exactly efficient, but it is completely free. Oh, did I say... I say things wrong all the time. Oh yes, I should remember that because we're now doing the regular expedition, that we need to make sure that we check those message capsules to try and get as much of the story as we can. Yes, here's the blatant spoiler that she's Rico Tyrell, so she's the principal's daughter. Oh, I can tell there's something unusual for sure. Yeah, I don't know a ton about Pokemon card game, especially in that era. I remember the era when it was like you were just playing the really good Pokemon that don't evolve, like all the normal types. Well, they were colorless in that game because Wizards of the Coast are strange. Not like they're weird fit. Oh, that's just rude. Yeah, Boomas and their relatives, they are just the fairly generic swarming walker type of mobs. There's basically one in every area. Not necessarily the terrible ugly killer badgers, but we will find something very similar. I don't know if it was renamed to normal or not, but certainly I'm pretty sure that it was not called colorless in the original version. I feel like that was sort of a WotCism from way back when they were the ones who were running the show for those 10 minutes. Okay, that's a bit of a lie. It was much longer than that. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Wizards of the Coast was handling things all the way up until the 3rd gen parts of the card game. 3rd gen era, rather. Or just 3rd gen, I suppose, but it feels like there were more like soft reboots and or base sets throughout the Pokemon card game's history. Like there was I think Skyridge was a base set of a sort. And yeah, by this point, we are getting the tutorials quite late because we have already done... we've already done all the missions for this area. I almost said we've done most of the missions for this area. We come back here for, like 1 to 2 missions later. But that's it. That said, yeah, most of the colorless energy Pokemon, of course, were normal types themselves. So, close enough, right? But it was definitely an era where you were playing things like Kangaskhan. Scyther was another big one, although Scyther wasn't colorless. Scyther was grass, because it's a bug. But it was still something that was pretty widely played, just because it had good stats, it did good damage, and double colorless energy is so gross in that period. The power of the DCE. And yeah, that tells us the wolves tried to sneak around to your back. Something I suppose we could have extrapolated from my shitty description earlier, but also I usually don't let them get to that point, and they tend to just do more of like a side swipe at you anyway. Like, okay, they technically touch your like 90-degree back arc, but that's not a real back attack, is it? If they're attacking you from the side. Be honest with us. Oh, is that another arm? It sure is. Unfortunately, we cannot just turn those into 2 arms. 2 claws, rather, and go apeshit. The double claw weapon type was added in Phantasy Star Universe. I think in that game, because the expansion pack added missions that had throwback content to PSO, you actually could get double Booma claws. They weren't, like, great weapons or anything, but they existed. Still, interesting drop rates we're getting here. No true weapons yet, but we're picking stuff up far more often than I would have expected. Oh, is that only 120 HP on this difficulty? It was less on normal, but I thought it would be a little more here. But I think the Dimate is 300 on hard. I seem to recall it was 200 on normal. Either way, it's more than a full heal right now, so hey. Even if it is just like 250, which... Yeah, you mentioned that one on Monday. But cool though, that's some fun stuff. I forget about in Zelda 2, is Dark Link just literally using Link's sprite, or can it be changed to something else? Because then you can do some other fun stuff with it too. Garfield will fight normal. Yeah, it sounds like. I'm pretty sure this is literally what Jim Davis, I think his name is, pardon me. The creator of Garfield. This is exactly what he had in mind, pardon me. Okay, yeah, it's just Link sprite with the solid black palette. Gotcha. If it was something where you could change the sprite entirely, too, then you could have some real fun with it, but... You know, space saving and stuff, and I would not... To be fair, if it was a different sprite and it was just like, oh, we copied over the one that existed, we just have a different palette for it, I would be like, Nintendo, what the fuck are you doing? Even if several years down the line, 30 years plus down the line, that's really cool and allows allows people to do some fun stuff with it, that would still be a pretty questionable decision. Yeah, that is probably the Pioneer 1's military equipment that killed them, if I had to hazard a guess, because that's a thing that's been pointed out as existing. Oh, nice. That you can do that much. We checked this one already, right? This is the... Yeah, this is the doors are locked. Doors are unlocked thing. So I feel like we haven't seen one of the info capsules. It's probably back in the big long room that I missed it. Oh no, here's a second one here. Yeah, telling us about the Rappies. Nice. Again, a lot of space to do some fun stuff in stuff like that, which is cool. Actually, speaking of randomizers and the like, Metroid Prime Remastered is a thing that already exists, but hard copies aren't out yet. I am going to be picking up a copy when it comes out, in all likelihood, once physical versions are available. And I'm hoping that somebody... Excuse me. I'm hoping that... Because I had a lot of fun with Bash Prime's Metroid Prime Rando. I would love if somebody was able to get something similar, or even just bootstrap functionality to use that into it. Although that said, I would assume that there's probably a little bit more work that went into it than just being very straightforward. But we'll find out at some point. Something broke through the surface and then exploded in the central dome? Huh. Don't know what that... That is a strange thing to refer to, because now that means we should find a crater, right? Or a hole of some description, if it's not literally something we can call a crater. Not a crater creator. Actually, wait, was Crater Creator just a thing for Dungeon Dice monsters, or was that an actual card in the main Yu-Gi-Oh card game? Like, in the Japanese version, it has a much different name, like, signifying that it's basically a nuclear bomb. But I just like Crater Creator as a name. A little bit of cash. No useful items around here, sadly, though. Oh, well. I don't expect that we're going to get real gear upgrades for quite a bit. Like, surely not until we enter the next level, right? Ow! Fuck, that hurt, dude! Shirk! I can't believe you would do this to me. Yes, I can. What if I considered not lying to you people? Although, for some reason, it was that one specifically that controlled the door circuit. You got to say here. Ah, yes. Use a Switch. Not even just as a game console. It's not Nintendo advertising. And we got... Oh! Thank you, Mag. Came through for us, giving us a free revive. However, we did drop our weapon, which... While we didn't drop it as an item, we just got unequipped. Did we take a hit to synchro? We sure did. I'm going to have to find something to fix that. Oh, I guess monomates do it. Wow. That makes life easier. So, yeah, that's what happens when you die, except usually you actually die. However, in this case, our mag just bailed us out because it has a random chance to revive us when we get killed. Normally, you would need to have a escape doll in your inventory for that to happen. But hey, first death. Everybody keep track of it. Hopefully that's, like, the only death. Maybe I can start playing a little smarter. Although, saying that, there's quite a few bosses in this game that can absolutely fuck me up. The one here is not so bad. Although, it can do some real damage to you. And you can get killed by your own stupidity fairly easily. But still, not as bad as the later ones, we'll put it that way. Although we do have quite a few things that are going to help us out with a couple of them that we didn't really have when I was playing this on normal. And that's why I didn't heal after I got killed, because I knew that we were going to gain a level pretty soon afterwards. Although, of course, we still got slapped in the face after that, doing a little bit of damage to us, because why the devil not, right? And, yeah, I don't know how all this has come across. Oh, he didn't take the debuffs. So when you kill the barbarous wolves, all the other wolf enemies in the room will howl in sorrow, which in addition to basically stunning them for a couple seconds, allowing you to get some free hits, if you just let them be, generally speaking, they will get attack and defense down, making them even easier to kill than usual. So, nice of the game to do that. A similar enemy appears in episode 2, except they get buffs when you kill their buddies. When you kill the higher level ones. So that's pretty nasty. Especially considering the moves that they use can be a huge problem. Alright, what do you got for us, Info Capsule? This tall column was built to commemorate the immigration of Pioneer 1. By whomst? Doesn't look very new. The pattern's characters? Well, the resolution isn't going to do us a whole lot of favors here. But if we press it, it starts glowing. I believe we have to come into contact with all of these, and we need to use that button on them. Hit our action button in order to activate all of them. And we've got sort of a version of this ring with 3 dots design that is used elsewhere. I don't remember offhand, like, what the whole significance of that in terms of where else it shows up is. But yeah. Take a look at these side chambers here. If we go to the right, that's going to be the one that leads us towards the exit, but I want to see if there's any... Well, usually it is. See if there's anything noteworthy in here, or is it just some free experience? I mean, if it's these dudes, it's definitely free. Okay, we do have some real enemies, so at least there's that. I suppose. But yeah, just a couple of very small encounters. Ah, yeah, here's a cache of crates. Not much, it's just money. Thankfully, we didn't lose our money when we, air quotes, died there. If you actually get properly killed, you do lose your money on hand, but not the stuff you have in the bank, which I guess that much would stand to reason. Alright, info capsule. Can't hit Hildebear, try standing in front of it. That is pretty dangerous advice because they will punch you and it will hurt. But they do have kind of choppy hit detection from the back, it's true. Oh, my usual strategy for things is just to offend everything by jumping into the middle of a group and pull it all to one location where I can just hit them all in the same attack. You know, put myself in extreme danger to begin with, and then start doing the maniac shit. Because we all know that that's the smart way to do it, right? Is to just be the biggest possible clown. Oh, hey, buddy. Well, oh, he's taunting us. Wow, okay. Nice. Our photon blast charged. Less nice is that big hit we took there. That said, we should definitely have enough healing items to take on the boss, so I'm not concerned about that. Provided it can't one-shot us, which it probably shouldn't be able to do. Like, at this point, 220 HP, and we got, well, okay, our D-band is interfering with my ability to see that number properly, but 165 is not super far off from what it is. Actually, let's see if... Okay, yeah, 152. 152 defense. And 220 health. And decent fire resistance. We should probably be fine to never get one-shot by the boss. And of course, as a consequence, I'm not casting my PB yet because I want to save that for when we get to the boss. Alright, now again, we pull everything. And we get into an advantageous position. Can you believe that it took me, like, several years to actually start tanking in FF14? Considering that I've always played this game like this, and this is basically how 14 tanking works. On some level. Especially when you're alone. Like, if you have a group of people with you, they should be DPSing. They should be DPSing the mobs for you. And, in fact, I'll say it, the DPS should be dunking on things while you're pulling them. Like, I feel like some people kind of don't think that's okay, apparently. From something that I've been told by some people, like, God, the amount of role drama in 14 sometimes is a little bit overwhelming, and I admit that I'm kind of picking a fight here a little bit too by saying, yeah, you should play this way, and then... But if you're expecting the DPS to just not do their job while you're getting everything together, that's kind of foolish, especially because why would you want to slow down the run through the dungeon? Like, oh yes, I really want this fight to take even longer, please. That's a normal thing that a person has really said at any point in their life. Okay, so... what would be best to start with here? I'm going to try starting out with a shot, and you will see why when we get into this battle. And yeah, we've got a big, angry dragon. However, it has multiple targets on its body, so we can use this shot effectively to do massive damage per attack like this. I mean, we're landing... We're landing at least like 360 per hit here. So we're basically going to skip most of its first phase. And our pistol doesn't have long enough range to hit it while it's in the air. Although the sniper isn't going to do a great job at it either. Okay, so this attack. My way of dealing with this is usually to pull up the menu and just run in a circle around the fire spot. In fact, you may not even need to pull up the menu. And holding the L button might make it better. It doesn't always work, as you can see there, and also nice heal for exactly 50 HP. Glad to see our mag is looking out for us. But if you are really good at it, and you can tell I'm a little inexperienced nowadays, I haven't played this game in quite a bit, you can actually just dodge that dashing attack entirely. Also, yes, I was trying to show that off on purpose, because I have never done that before. You can get hit by the dragon while it's collapsing. You can get absolutely murdered by it if your HP is low enough. And I find that hilarious. That you can just be like in such a position where the game will say no and you don't win the fight. And you get kicked back and you have to do things over again. Oh, also we didn't do this, so I'll show off the dolphin. Look out, everybody. Echo's using the really hard drugs. Also, now that we've beaten the dragon, these fiery spots are now completely safe for some reason. Don't know what the deal with that is, but okay. Crack open some crates. Pick up some money. And let us get out of here. We've done it. Wow, you've done it! Wait, wrong franchise. Oops. So now we go and we talk to the head of the team. Yeah, that's what dragons tend to do, my dude. That's a good question, Mega Man. We'll keep looking around. The principal's daughter was on Pioneer. We already found that out, yes. He's worrying quite a bit. Find out what happened to her. We will see what we can do about that. A hunter and a scientist. I think did somebody say that before, but still, wow. A lot of time on her hands, really. Alright, lad man, what do you gotta say? I mean, it's always really difficult. This is something that would be like a good sort of moral quandary, but this game is clearly not equipped to deal with that. And nobody knew anything about the big dragon, so... Did the NPCs have anything new to say? I'm sure they do. I mean, you would really hope that they were taking refuge somewhere, but it's hard to say for sure. To do some research on Regal, and they finally... Oh, yeah, I found that. Maybe somebody else found one too, but I, as well, have found these secret messages you're telling me about. Okay, you're just telling me the same thing that I already know. The Techers, one of them likes big butts and cannot lie, one of them likes big butts and cannot tell the truth. Yes. I'm sure that's how it works. Alright, we have no unknown items. We do, however, have space to feed our mag. Give me a little more power here. 83, we're doing pretty good on this. We might have a chance of getting to 200 by the end of this playthrough. Probably not. But we might technically have a chance. Nothing big in the shop here. Well, I guess... Is that stronger than the one that I have? I think that's literally just plus 5% machine. Yeah, but you can see the lock gun is a stronger alternative to the rifle, even if its accuracy is lower, but our base accuracy is pretty good, so that is less of a concern for us. We can get away with it. Deposit our money, and now we should have unlocked new quests in the quest zone. Yes, we got 5 new quests to do. There are quite a few more quests in the caves. So let's start with this one, which is all the way up here for some reason. This is a fairly simple dialogue tree type of thing, so they don't really pay you too good for this. Buy much better weapons earlier if he saved his money. I mean, yeah, if he just... Hunters. Good translation job. Yeah, this game definitely has some translation issues. Granted, I think part of that is because they were really trying to get a same-day international launch, and they just did not quite have it in them to get there. But you got anything to say? It looks like everybody's really into some neat weaponry nowadays. Alright, what do you got, buddy? You're the guy we have to talk to. Oh, you've met me in an earlier time loop. Buying weapons too often. You sure are, buddy. That's not always true. I mean, you can kill just weak shit over and over and grind drops that way and get your money anyway. Nah, I think you're full of shit, dude. Because of the thing that I just described. Yeah, I think you're... Yeah, he's got a problem. He's been hitting the steel drugs way too hard or something. I don't know where I'm going with that. Incidentally, there's nothing of note in the shop. Good time for that, though. Oh, I should probably remember to put that claw away before it starts molding. Yeah, he complained. A weapon fetish. Amazing. That's right, use the caps lock on him. That'll convince him. Oh, I see. You're a normal person. Or something. Oh, he's upset. Oh no, we hurt his feelings. Oh well, too bad, dude. He's probably not even that good as a fighting dude anyway. Alright, let's get our pittance for doing, like, nothing. To be fair, I mean, that's understandable, but still. And meanwhile, I'm gonna move my chair. All right, we're going back to me remembering to deposit that Booma arm. Otherwise, I'm gonna feel real silly. There we go. All right, now back to the quest tree. Alright, we're going to start from the top of our set of quests in the caves. Somebody wants to eat some sweets. I mean, fair enough. I like chocolate. Yeah, it's a futuristic society. They, of course, have that level of control. Because that's just the thing that happens in these kind of fictions. And you have a problem, and we need to go and try to explore Pioneer 1 to go find something sweet for this person. Very amusing. Thank you, game. Can't feed our mag right now. Oh, right, I should remember to talk to everybody. As if they were going shopping. Yeah, alright, buddy. Makes you seem professional. It's very cool. Yeah, I think that's all the regular people. Looking for the perfect baking environment. Huh? Well, that's useful information, I guess. Find the 3 lost sisters. High standards for baking. I think all these things are interconnected, and yeah, this is what Gilliam's model looks like here, is that it just looks like that. Oh yeah, nobody's gonna be in the hospital. What am I thinking? Alright, so you don't have special dialogue. You're just same as usual. And nobody else around here, right? That is correct. And so over we go, back to the teleporter for our first embarkation to Cave 1. And yeah, we've got quite the volcanic thing going on here. And we got some A-beasts here. As I said before, Altered Beast, again, serves as a strong reference to an old Sega franchise. Although, that said, I'm pretty sure that in no Altered Beast game, because there were a couple of other games past the original, I don't think in any of them we fought, like, Sharkmen or anything, right? And in fact, these guys are called Evil Shark, and I find that incredibly funny. Just what a silly name for a monster. Ah, yes, the Poison Lilies. These enemies are infamous on higher difficulties, but even on the lower difficulties, they can be quite annoying unless you happen to be an android. Because they shoot poison at you, and if you attack them without killing them, they can paralyze you. Also, if you lower their HP pretty low, they will start counting down to self-destruct like that. If you get hit by the toxic gases they emit, I think that causes paralysis. Although on higher levels, I'm pretty sure that's also an instant kill style of attack. And protection against their instant death spell requires a truly absurd amount of dark resistance. Like 40. Sorry. Did I say 40? I meant 80. Like 80 or something. A number that is obscenely hard to get on any feasible level. Like, just that requires specialized gear practically that you have to have like a whole ass build to be immune to that. So if you're on ultimate, you're basically just dancing around their vomit in order to make sure that you don't die, in addition to everything else you have to deal with. And in the area. I haven't even gotten to talk about this Nano Dragon yet, which, first of all, Nano Dragon is a great name if you are starting like a synthwave group, like sort of a retro 80s style, or hair metal, I guess, would be the other option. But more notably, Nano Dragons, in addition to the fact that they deal really strong attacks that are fixed damage based, I believe. So your raw defense doesn't help you. Ow. And that time we actually died. Okay. Yeah, that's that lockdown from our attack coming to bite us. But they, death counter at 2, by the way. Maybe I should have, like, an actual death counter somewhere. They can attack other enemies, and when they do damage to, when they kill them, rather, they will gain a permanent damage boost until you kill them, obviously. They also gain buffs if they kill players, but of course, we're in single-player mode, so if we leave and re-enter the map, we reset them entirely. So they will lose that. So we don't have to worry about that thing being stronger now that we've had our HP reset. Hey, yeah, it's been a while. I meant to start streaming again much earlier this year, but I got pretty well swamped with some stuff in real life. So doing all the prep work that I wanted to for this set of streams took longer than I intended it to. Oh, did we? Oh, I guess we killed it, and it got us during its death throes. Nice. What fun. That doesn't make me feel like an idiot or anything. You had boot problems after you got your new RAM. That's a shame. Did you, like... I was gonna say, did you get the wrong type for your motherboard? Like, DDR5 for a DDR4 or something like that? Because DDR5 I know is a thing now, which... I don't even think I'm pretty sure that my Mobo is DDR4 based because it has an AM4 socket. Also, these things are terrifying and kind of awesome. Oh, it was just some machine jank. Okay, just making sure that it wasn't like the most foolish possible, you know, that you didn't end up doing something like that and then looking at it being like, wow. Of all the things to do wrong, right? Anyway, yeah, we didn't get a good look at the moveset of those grass assassin enemy. However, it will spit like a sticky thread at your feet and will bind you in place. And then they will attack you with a fair level of impunity. You can still fight back, but it prevents you from dodging. And I'm pretty sure it kind of reduces your evasion a little bit. At least it always felt like they had higher accuracy when they had you tied down than otherwise. But also, yes, it's a praying mantis that has spider web for some reason. And can charge you at high speeds. The charge attack is really annoying because they become untargetable for a period when they do their scream and, like, right up until they start charging at you. Oh, your external hard. That sucks. I've had a lot of cases of hard drives just die on me for various reasons. And it always really sucks because then, you know, there's your data gone. Often. Hopefully you can get it fixed. Discover the correct amount of files. Oh, okay, that's much worse than what I was thinking at first when you said that, because I was like, is it hitting the limit on what that drive type... Which is an issue that I had back with Windows 7, is that you kind of have to... I think you have to use very specific file formatting on Windows 7 to have higher than 2 terabyte hard drives, which was a problem when I first bought a 3 terabyte internal HDD for it as some extra thing, but that sounds more like it's just kind of fucked. And I forget if you are on Windows 7 or if you're on something newer, which... I had an issue with getting USB 3.0 compatibility on Windows 7, so I ended up upgrading to Windows 10. So I'm not having that issue anymore, at least. But yeah, I figure by now most people are probably using Windows 10, or maybe even Windows 11, but Windows 11 doesn't seem very good from what I've heard from people. Anyway, this special... Ooh, we can equip this. Ah, because it's a saber type. I was like... It's going to be one of the lances, isn't it? Because those are hunter exclusive, but no. This will be a nice replacement for the junk sword that we have in our other slot here. Yeah, I mean, it's not quite 100 points stronger, but still. It's a nice step up. More of a side grade, yeah. I've heard people be less charitable about it, we'll say that. But, yeah, Windows 11 definitely does not seem like a step up. It doesn't sound like it's as bad as going from 7 to 8, but, I mean... There's only a handful of things that are in the world of operating systems. Like... It's not Millennium Edition, that's for sure. It's not early Vista. Like, I think Vista was actually kind of usable later in life, but early Vista, oh boy. Oh, no, early Vista. Don't. Not even once. Yeah, ME did not last for reasons that should surprise absolutely nobody. Whether that be on anybody's personal computer or just in general, because Microsoft dropped that pretty fast too. Alright. Switch back to our shotgun to deal with a group here. Oh, I don't know what that poison flower is laughing about. It can't do anything to us. But I do appreciate the fact that they chuckle at you. Unlike Sonic. Wait a second. Did I see the... I didn't see everything in the Nintendo Direct, but I did catch a couple of important points. Yes, game, I know about the die mate. Don't worry. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna use it right now. I saw a couple of notable things. I know Tears of the Kingdom is on its way sometime this year. I forget when, but sometime this year. The thing that I'm more interested in is that we have a release date, finally, for Advance Wars Reboot Camp. And they showed off some more stuff for Battle Network Collection, which is great. I'm already... I haven't pre-ordered Battle Network Collection yet because I want to do that at an actual store in person because I'm no great fan of delivery times. Oh, right. Yes, Baten Kaitos is being re-released / remastered. I think there's another Tales of Symphonia remaster, which, you know, they've had such a great track record with those. I'm sure that will make people really want to buy it. Ha ha ha. It's very unfortunate because I know that a lot of people really love Tales of Symphonia, but it seems like they have fucked up every version of it since the original. Which is quite sad. But, yeah. Reboot Camp is coming out in April. They showed off more of Battle Network Collection. I was going to pre-order that anyway. But apparently they're actually doing some bug fixing on it, judging by some of the things that people have seen in the footage. Like, they didn't say, oh yeah, we're fixing the bugs. They just kind of stealth showed off that the rather infamous prism glitch does not work anymore. So that is cool. That gives me a little bit of hope that they did some more. Because some of those games are notoriously a complete mess. Etrian Odyssey Collection. Yeah, that's a thing that... don't get it on PC. That's fine. What was I... Oh, yeah. Metroid Prime Remastered. Hell yeah. That is the thing. Oh, fucking de novo, of course. That's okay. Somebody will patch that out sooner or later, and I'll... You know. It'll be pirate ready sooner than later. But, I digress. Let's get hit by this guy. Never mind. Let's not get hit by this guy, I guess. Oh, I would assume so, because de novo is not very popular for obvious reasons, even among digital rights management systems. Because it's terrible. Yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, Metroid Prime Remaster, that is out already digitally. However, I'm waiting for the physical release. It can go on my shelf with all the other copies of Metroid Prime that I have, i.e., well, just the one on GameCube and a Japanese copy for GameCube. I should see if I can pick up a copy, well, a physical copy, I suppose, of Trilogy at some point, and have that, and I can have a whole Metroid Prime shelf if I want to. Oh god, yeah, I forgot that... Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense as a way to... As a big reason why people would be upset about de novo, but I seem to also recall that it had, like... It kind of made people's antivirus stuff go berserk. Like, it would just generate a lot of false positives type of thing. Which, obviously, that ain't great. No? Eh. Oh, that's okay. I'm hoping that we hear some news somewhere down the line about Metroid Prime 4. You know, presumably after Tommy Tallarico is done suing them for telling the truth about his relative lack of involvement. That's a joke. I'm pretty sure that that's not actually happening, but that is inspired by the fact that I watched that Intellivision Amico video that's been going around on YouTube yesterday. The 4-hour-long record of shit that happened with that. And yeah, Tommy Tallarico is kind of lawsuit happy and kind of a liar, to say the least. Oh no, I'm gonna get... whatever. No, that's someone very different. That's Yuji Naka. Yuji Naka, of course, of Sonic and Phantasy Star fame, but mostly Sonic fame, to be fair. Yuji Naka has been arrested twice in the last year for insider trading related issues. No, Tommy Tallarico is a completely U.S. homegrown type of... Tommy Tallarico worked on a lot of games back in the 16-bit era, in particular stuff that was Sega Genesis exclusives. I believe he was actually working with Shiny Entertainment / Interplay. Basically, Tommy Tallarico is probably best known for his work on Earthworm Jim. Although his work on Earthworm Jim is significantly less than is commonly reported. It's often said that he worked on the soundtracks for both games. As far as I can tell, he only worked on the soundtrack for Earthworm Jim 2. In terms of arrangement, anyway. Like, maybe he did some sound engineering for EWJ1, which is still kind of neat. And still essential work to be done to get a game working, but yeah, definitely the truth has regularly been embellished, and not just by him on that matter. And recently he how do I feel about the new Super Mario Brothers movie? It's tough to say, because they are leaning on a fair amount of, like, meme stuff for it, which I'm not necessarily going to say is a bad thing. Like, they did I'm pretty sure it was the Super Mario Brothers Super Show theme. Like, they resuscitated that for one of the recent trailers. And I just think that I've mostly heard other people's responses to it. Oh, we're not getting chat lag today then, so at least that's that. So I've had a lot of people, I've seen their responses to it, and all I can say is that if this wasn't a Mario Brothers movie, a lot of people would be looking at this and being like, wow, that's really fucking cringe when they do stuff like that. And overall, you know, I'm sure it'll be a good time. You know, the Sonic movie looked like a complete train wreck, and that ended up being kind of a fun time. At least to most people. I still haven't seen either of the Sonic movies. I need to do that at some point. I'm just real lazy. So, I'm sure that there will be some fun to be had with the Mario Brothers movie. Although I am certainly getting behind a lot of the people who are like, well, I'm not sure how I feel about Chris Pratt being the choice for Mario. And not just because Chris Pratt. I mean, it's... You know, there are voice actors out there as opposed to just big Hollywood stars, and it's not like this, of all things, is not going to sell. But, again, a lot of that's going to come down to what will it be like when it comes out. And yeah, I've definitely seen... I've seen little bits of Jim Carrey as Robotnik / Eggman. And he definitely... Well, I mean, he was a total show stealer when he was in the original trailer for the first Sonic movie, so... Yeah, I also haven't seen Sonic Prime yet. I know that that's a thing. That is piggybacking off of the movie continuity, I believe. So, yeah. Yeah, the footage that I've seen of some of the trailers seemed like he was a little bit lacking in that department, but who knows how well that reflects the final film, of course, because... You know, that stuff has to go through all the focus groups and everything, too. So, I'm sure it's not, like, ready right this minute. You're not going to watch Sonic Prime. I probably will do that some other time, again, through methods that I probably should not... that are probably theoretically against the rules on Twitch, but I'm too small of a channel for it to matter. Huh. That's a strange thing. I've heard a lot of people say that what they've seen is pretty good. But again, that's just based on what other people have to say and, you know, varying tastes and everything. I want to say that I'm hard to please, but I don't know if that's actually true. Sometimes I definitely feel like it is, but I don't watch a lot of, like, television series or films or anything like that, so at least in that department, that is kind of true. We'll see what... I may or may... Well, but we'll just put it this way. I may or may not get to it because I'm, generally speaking, very, very bad at actually getting around to things. There is a bunch of stuff that I need to actually watch and everything that I know I was going to watch to begin with. Like the new Gundam series. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't even finished watching JoJo Part 4, and there's the whole Part 5 anime, plus however much of Part 6. I think Part 6 is actually done and dusted, so I may have to... So, regardless of the case, I'm gonna have to watch all that eventually. I've got a couple of movies still sitting on my computer that I haven't watched yet. Somebody sent me a copy of Alien for Christmas, and I haven't watched that yet. Which, again, that is something that... I kind of actually need to watch that as, like, research for an upcoming video, too. So that's even a bigger oopsie on my part. Of like, wow, I'm really scrubbing this shit up, ain't I? And I'm not talking about this fight. This is fine. I can take a couple of hits against those dudes to make sure that they don't try to charge me and make the fight more annoying. I haven't seen the Alien movies before, no. Keep in mind that I'm not much of a movie watcher in general, though, so, you know, you can decide how much better or worse that makes it, relatively speaking. But definitely I'm aware of a few things about them, and, I mean, I appreciate H.R. Giger's visuals and his artistic style. So, we'll say I'm only like 98% blind to at least the first one. Later films, not so much. I'm not so sure about that. Yeah. Those are going on. Well. It definitely seems like a pretty good series of movies, so I'm looking forward to it once I remember to find the time to do it. I just am not an expert in time management anymore. Never really was to begin with, but especially nowadays, I'm, like, really bad at things. Yeah, have you been enjoying that? Ow. Okay, our backs are really against the wall here because we might not be able to take another... Yeah, it's better. It turned out to be fine. I was about to say we might not be able to take another hit, but everything turned out fine. Because I believe you can't pop open your item menu while you're paralyzed like that. I guess I should find out next time it happens. Oh, so this slime monster is kind of interesting. We haven't had a chance to... Oh, hey, we just sort of by chance happened into one of its major gimmicks. So these things will split if you hit them with the third attack of a combo, which for us kind of requires us to intentionally set things up that way because of where our accuracy is at. But still, yeah, it's kind of weird. But of course, they have their own separate drops for... As in, they all drop items regardless of whether they were the original or the split, and they all drop experience. So I guess it's to sort of avoid them being too frustrating, but also to allow you to get a bonus. As it instead turns into more of like a strategy to hit them on that third hit instead of, hey, this is a penalty for you failing to kill them fast enough or something. Although, yes, you can only hit them once every time they're out of the ground. As you can see, I'm not even trying to do any better because you kind of can't. Whoa! Wow, what a range on that! I didn't realize they could use the ground stabby from that far. They do also have a blue bouncing fireball attack they can use on you. But usually, you don't get to see them attack very much because the time it takes for them, A, to target you, and B, to actually use their attack is kind of long. It's just that I was fighting all the other enemies at the time. So I kind of got what was coming to me with that one. Oh, I'm not going to be able to angle that properly. Don't bother, buddy. Alright. Everything's cleared out. We can feed our mags some monomates here. Doors opened immediately, so we're gonna be This area always kind of confuses me a little bit. Just, I don't have the best memory for how these paths are set up. We can just let that take care of itself. Still worth the experience, even when they use self-destruct. Oh, there's two stacked on top of each other. That's funny. And incredibly rare to happen, so... Come on, buddy. Yeah, this is another thing that can make these really annoying to fight. Not because they're hard, necessarily, although, again, we almost took a hit from one, and that's kind of embarrassing for this specific enemy type. It's just that sometimes it will take that long to decide what position they want to stop at relative to you. And usually they try to appear behind you, just to make sure that you have to turn around. Hey, nerd. Where's my... Yeah. Because you can see that the hitboxes are a little bit funny when we're trying to melee these things with the saber, so... Appears behind you. Cat Jam leaves. Yeah, it sounds about... That's you, alright. What are you doing in here? What are you doing leaving, I guess? Oh, actually, this would be a great place to take out this big, long stick. Get our halberd here. Which probably should be spelt with a D instead of a T, but, translation... Sega didn't exactly do the best job on that, that's for sure. This thing can absolutely target more than 5 enemies. It's just that they split up a little more than I was expecting. And of course, a bunch of them were already pre-damaged, so... Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if I'm going the right way or not. Although with the amount of branching pathways that are over there... Well, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Oh, I was about to say, do monsters not spawn here? And I was basically setting myself up for a fool. I figured, oh no, monsters won't spawn here until after I hit the switch. But nope, nope, they're here anyway. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, you jerk. That staff is not going to be worth, like, jack shit money-wise. Also, our bag is full. I could use a telepipe and go back to town and just resupply and empty our bag, but I'm not going to do that yet. Actually, no, never mind. I will. Normally, there wouldn't really be much purpose to me picking up that staff. I mean, it's +7, but that's not going to increase the value too much. Oh, I mean, it has a decent HP drain ability, but meh. Okay, there is no reason to put this through the Techer except to reveal its name as the DB's Saber. And we can get its description for anybody who is interested in that. And by saying no to equipping it, we have refused to equip the weapon that was already equipped to us. What an absolute clown move on my part. But that's fine. We're going to start dumping our inventory into this shop. Well, except for the stuff that we actually can make use of. And we'll deposit the Scape Doll in our bank. Because again, those things are not common. Also, you will notice that the DB Saber is worth only 10 Meseta. All rare items, period, are only worth 10 Meseta when you sell them. That includes any rare units, rare armor, rare weapons. If it's a rare drop and it's not in gold text, it's not necessarily. But there are very few item drops that are like that are rare drops and not gold text. Especially once you pass the first difficulty. Once you're out of normal mode, pretty much all of them are worth only the 10 Meseta. Well, thankfully I have a decent chunk stored up, so at least I got that going for me. But yeah, I probably do need more than I have to help do mag raising. Is there any? Yeah, there's not going to be a 4-slot armor here. Who am I kidding? I just thought I'd check, though. Let's go get healed. Because only 10 Meseta, why not? That guy making his comical stompy noises. We deposit all that, and yeah, back to it. Back to it. Alright. So now the enemies should have respawned behind us, I think. Oh, we gotta... Oh, it's just this asshole. That was very silly of me to do. Yeah, see, we can open our item menu, but you can see that things lock up for us when we attempt to use anything while we are tied up. I probably don't need that Master's Sniper anymore because the EXP leech thing is just kind of slow and not that helpful. I mean, it's cool, but it's not exactly super helpful with that piece of our loadout. We would want something else with that. Excuse me. Or we would want to be using it on a higher difficulty level, and preferably with a unit that increases our attack speed. which there are a few of those that exist, even on PSO for GameCube. None of them are quite as busted as the ones that were introduced in Blue Burst, however, because like everything that was introduced for the high level in Blue Burst that drops in episode 4 is really disgusting. So it's not quite at that level, but they can be pretty good. Unfortunately, if I recall correctly, yeah, sorry, I got up for a second to adjust my chair because I'm sitting in a terrible position. I gotta do better than this. I'll figure it out later. Why not? There it is. Yeah, I don't think anything right now. I don't think anything in our current section ID is what I'm trying to... If I can ever piece this together. Oh, ye goodness. I don't think we can get Final Impact, which is the weapon that I would really want for EXP leeching at this point, because it is a very powerful shotgun that has an experience steal ability. Again, steal in air quotes there because, well, yeah, it doesn't really, yeah. But I think that's reduced too, which is unfortunate. Unfortunately, like, actually finding that weapon, I don't think anything drops that for us because of our current section ID. So we're screwed on that weapon. But that's fine. It's not the end of the world. We are still gaining a reasonable amount of EXP and it's not like we're struggling that badly. I mean, we've died a couple times, but not the worst thing in the world. It's only hard mode compared to the other two difficulties that exist, so yeah. Ah, there's the spike. Yeah, that hurt. That ain't great. Thankfully, we got a healing item right here, so we can just pop that immediately. Nice, we landed a crit on the slime. That's going to make killing that thing a little bit faster. We just got 5 of these in here. Kind of a pedestrian group at this point, but unfortunately, if our camera angle wasn't that bad, we would probably be able to hit all of them in a single hit. Also, don't do what I just did. When these things are moving around, don't turn, because that tends to make them just go for longer to try to find a place to stop. Because, again, they do try to land behind you. But hey, once one of them stops moving, obviously, you know, you do what you got to do in order to get the fight ended. Well, that's more than I've got, so if they do share one brain cell, that would... No. They act fully independently. And yeah, of course, these floor switches, which, yeah, they do kind of look like comical landmine type of things. As you can tell, the ones with the floating explosive trap above them don't work. But we can press them anyway, and they make a noise. It's just that that's usually a place where you would want trap vision, or just go in the menu and be very touch and go about actually getting to any of them. However, again, being that we are an android, we can see those. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have to play this game's game. May as well take advantage of the free healing item. Oh, you again. Okay, there's our exit. Wow, we just seem to have chosen, like, all the correct paths to get through there real fast. Oh, there's another nano dragon. Ah, our robot can smell. That's useful. But yes, that is indicating to us that we are on the correct floor to go find these cake sellers. Oh, slight spoiler. Ooh, neat. Neat. We got ourselves a cutter. This is a tier 3 slicer weapon. So, pretty good damage on it. Only 4 targets compared to the shotgun, and of course, because our shotgun had really good stats on it, its accuracy is much better. But again, just showing it off a little bit. I think it has like a different motion that it makes just in general, the way the thing, the sort of plasma boomerang flies. So it can actually hit in some different patterns, meaning it is actually more useful in certain situations, I believe. But I do have my preferences. Oh, blaster. Nice. That's going to replace our single target ranged option. That's our third tier rifle. Yeah, 507 attack power. That's pretty good. I mean, the DB Saber has a lot more because it's a rare, but for just a common weapon, this is pretty good for now. However, we don't want that right now. We want to take this thing out because that radar dot has told me that this thing is going to spawn. This is a pan arms. This is a very irritating enemy for us because until it splits in two, it is immune to damage except from techniques and traps. And damage from traps is very slow, although not insignificant. And you can see that if it gets close to a wall, it will just lock in. It will interrupt its attack pattern, preventing it from getting to the split phase. So now it's just fucking around, and we're basically just rolling the dice, hoping and praying that we can land the instant death to just skip the rest of this fight. Otherwise, we're probably going to go outside and go do something else. Or it may actually reach the split. Oh, for fuck's sakes. It backed itself into close enough proximity to the wall again. Come on. Don't. Oh, it's walking into the... Yeah, as you can see here, we're not even landing any hit stun on it. I may just have to resort to bombing this thing. Yeah, see, 100 a shot. I'm pretty sure, like, once they reach a certain damage threshold, they tend to skip straight to the split phase. I have a feeling that we're going to reach such a point where we're going to run out of traps before we can do that. Because these things are, in addition to all of this, very, very stout. Because they're basically two monsters fused together. Oh, and worst part of all is that they're worth absolutely shit for EXP. You know, just to make things worse for you. Yeah, we've used all of our trap allotment. We would have to find a heal ring, or we would have to level up in order to get those back. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's about fucking time. They're really hard to manipulate, by the way, so I don't know how to, like, lure it away from the wall. I don't know if they just, like, try to get away from you as fast as possible or what. But I do know that they're ungodly irritating. Okay, just two of these. It's barely even a fight. And yeah, the timing on those masher traps. Oh, hey, that's the end of the quest. Let's go and see if there's a little more stuff we can do first. Just because, honestly, why not, alright? If we're finding better weapons down here, it might be useful to try and upgrade some of our gear a little bit. I mean, again, that's going to be a completely luck-based mission because, hey, MMORPG drops, but still. Alright, either drop dead or split. There we go. Alright, they're going to make it easy for us today. And you can see they are also easy to just lock in place once they're split. They do have the ability to debuff your attack and defense, depending on the color. Red debuffs your attack, blue debuffs your defense. They don't do it very often, though, and it replaces their regular damage. So, not a tremendous threat. Breaker is third stage form of the big broadswords we can't use. So, I don't entirely know what use there was to picking that up. Oh, that was fun. Anything there? Ooh, repeater. That is a fine source of damage. By the way, I want to show off this attack for the poison lilies if I can. That didn't do anything to us. But if we weren't a robot, that would paralyze us. And it would be incredibly irritating and really, really, really terrible. But I just wanted to show that off because, yeah. Alright. Ow. And yeah, you can definitely see the damage output for that thing is pretty great. However, machine guns have a very short range, and they have terrible accuracy. So we're probably going to keep that as like a back burner option. That's not necessarily going to be our top damage dealer. We want something with some range still. Oh, get a load of this. This is unique. We're not going to see the full effects of it, but you can see if that trap didn't do anything to us. It's green. It's a healing trap. They spawn literally only in this room as far as I know. But it's a kind of cool little thing that they included that I guess you'll see once in a while. Whatever, it's interesting, I think. Where of the map do we have that we can explore? We have quite a few branching paths that we can go look at. And yeah, I am also, admittedly, since my stream time is getting pretty close to 3 hours, I am adding a little bit here extra on the end just to, you know, you understand it. Ah, yes, I see we've got another one of these, and it's, once again, in a really terrible... Oh, that actually hit us that time. That sucks. Alright, can we... Yeah, we can do some EXP farming this way. It's incredibly slow, but it gets us a little something-something. But it turns out that was all we needed to get a level. Nice. You can see once again that our explosive traps have recovered, but we haven't increased our capacity any. Also, something that I may have made visible, but I definitely did not discuss when we fought the dragon, is that if you're an android, you cannot set your traps when you're in a boss fight. Which really sucks. There's a lot of reasons why I don't really care for them too much, and that's one of them. Is that you often just can't freaking use them. The game will just be like, well, what if we gave you this potentially really neat power, but we just didn't let you put it to use most of the time. Ooh, another red drop. I'm pretty sure that's just going to be another DBs. This one has machine, though. Yeah. So, I mean, at the very least, we can sell the other one, and we'll only lose 90 Meseta on the teching, as opposed to... I don't know where I was going with that, but whatever. Furthest on the left here. And this might be the official end of the... Oh, no, some other things showed up. They really do give you the ability to explore quite a lot of this zone, which surprises me a little bit. And yeah, if you're right up close to these flowers, hitting them with the saber is just not going to be on the cards for you. Nice. And yeah, as you probably could guess, hitting the slimes with any of the machine guns or any other multi-hit weapon, you'll only land the first hit. Because that's their whole gimmick. Oh, hey, I can demonstrate the thing that I mentioned earlier about, so, no, I can't, but, yeah, I can. I have to do it this way. And you can see, there they are. They're recovered because we used the healing ring. Yeah, this room is just alarmingly red for some reason. Is this the final room of the area? Because I believe the room that usually has the boss teleporter is like this as well. But regardless, let's make our way back and let's wrap things up for this quest. All right, and here we are. We got a couple of the guild counter folks. Here, and they have a cake shop in this cave. What a strange thing. Well, I mean, aren't you bakers if you make cakes? Like, isn't that a necessary, I digress. The Nora Cake Shop. Again, that's a reference to Phantasy Star 1. In fact, the fact that it's a cake shop in a cave is a reference to Phantasy Star 1. Just full stop. Because remember that in Phantasy Star 1, you had to go and get a cake from... you had to get a cake to give as a gift to the governor of Motavia. Oh yeah, the original Phantasy Star is... it's a very difficult game. I mean, a lot of RPGs in that era definitely were, but, like... out of what I would really consider to be the big three of early JRPGs, which would be Phantasy Star, Dragon Quest, and Final Fantasy, it is, without a doubt, the hardest of those three games. And yeah, if I haven't mentioned before, that Photon Blast is called Mila and Eula. Those two little Chow are, well, almost Chow, are summoned, and they cast the effects of Shifta and Deband on you. So hey, we can get stat buffs as an android. Nice. It doesn't last very long, but I'm pretty sure that's because it's tied to IQ, which, due to the food that I've been feeding this mag, is kind of low. Like, it's not exactly very smart. But we'll be able to fix that later on. I want my stats first. My stats that affect my character's stats. Because, yeah, now we're 85 power, which should be giving us 170 attack just from having that thing equipped. Which is a good part of how we're able to do so much damage in this mode at this point. Oh, fuck. Aim better, please. There we go. Right. And oh hey, it's another one of these. Actually, we've completed the goal of the quest, so we can leave. Oh, I really didn't talk to anybody in this quest, did I? Actually, I talked to people out here earlier, but that's about it. Yeah, you're one of the standard NPCs who doesn't change. Oh, this game, we are exploring this planet, trying to figure out why the Pioneer 1, which is the original ship that was sent out, basically the people of the planet, I think the planet is called Coral or Corral or something like that. Coral. There's no pronunciation guide, as you can guess. Their planet was being destroyed, and so they fled. And they've come here to Rhaegal, and they sent one ship down, the Pioneer 1, and they determined, hey, this planet is fine to live on. And then they sent the other ship, the Pioneer 2, which is the one that we're on, and it blew. There was a massive explosion at Pioneer 1, and it turns out that, oh no, Dark Falls was sealed on this planet, but we haven't learned any of that part yet. I'm spoiling something that, that we all could probably guess by the fact that it's a Phantasy Star game. Screen shakes. Well, we gave this strange woman a cake, and yay. Get our money. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that there isn't a single Phantasy Star game that doesn't have a Dark Force as a final boss. Or final boss of one part anyway. Like, there's been one in maybe one of the Phantasy Star portable games, or possibly Phantasy Star Zero. But I haven't dug too deep into those yet. Anyway, let's do our cleanup here. Be more specific. Do you just mean as like the turn-based thing? Yeah, Phantasy Star 5. I've heard some stuff about it that I'm not 100% sure how true it is. So some partially substantiated things that people on the internet were throwing around about what Phantasy Star 5 might have looked like, from a plot perspective at least. And I gotta say that it's kind of interesting, at least, from what I heard, because the idea was going to supposedly be that if they had continued along the lines of the original Phantasy Star quadrilogy, that the fifth game was going to be dealing with the people of the Algol system facing off against the Great Light in order to basically save themselves from being recycled because their purpose had been fulfilled by destroying the Profound Darkness in Phantasy Star 4. Although, again, take that with a grain of salt, because where I read that from, there was no source attached to it, no, like, interview or anything like that. But part of it is that Ryoko Kodama was promoted to being a... do I have an extra... Oh, yeah, I have the repeater, right. Ryoko Kodama started working on the, yeah, and, like, the people of Algol choosing their own destiny. Fucking hell, can I actually get my words together here? Ryoko Kodama basically went upstairs to, like, production sort of things and was working with Working Designs at the time. No, she wasn't working with Working Designs, pardon me. I got that confused because her first project after that was working on the Magic Knight Rayearth game for Sega Saturn, which is quite infamous for what Working Designs did to it. In that they kind of screwed it up a little bit and made it needlessly hard on top of everything else. So yeah, that kind of went down the toilet, and the Phantasy Star franchise was revived for an online RPG because criminal mastermind Yuji Naka was like, hey, I got this idea of what the future of gaming is going to look like, and they really wanted something for the Dreamcast that could take full advantage of being on the Dreamcast. And yeah, it was not able to save the Dreamcast's life. We're already outside the quest. Oops. So, yeah, that would have been a very interesting game. I certainly would hope that somebody at Sega/Sonic team is interested in making that at some point. Unfortunately, if Kodama is the major, like, requisite sort of unifying force for that project, well, I mean, then obviously that's going to be a bit of a no-go because she's dead. And so yeah, just yeah. And thus the Phantasy Star series went in a different direction and, in my opinion, suffered a bit of a death of identity throughout the online age, comparatively speaking, aside from, like, having a few recurring elements. But even then, it hasn't really done too much cohesive with them, I don't feel, other than, oh, hey, it's this futuristic setting MMORPG. But yeah. We will continue with more of this next time. You can probably see, judging from that quest, I mean, I padded it out a little bit on purpose, but yeah, the quests in the cave area get kind of long. We could be here for a bit, because there's even more past what the list says yet for us to unlock.